It's your girl Ashley. I be ballin' with another episode of I be ballin' basketball show. And today we're gonna review classic to my childhood, Hardball. And before we get into it, I want to introduce my special guest, Will.
What up? What up?
Tell them where they can find you and tell them what your channel is all about.
Yo, my channel is about exploring life through my lens as I uh, dive into history and movies and see what we can get out of it. You can follow me on Instagram, Road to William, and you follow me on TikTok.
All right, go to Road to William on YouTube right after this. Oh, yeah, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your favorite, scene from Hardball. So let's get into it. Hardball is just one of those childhood things. Strike one, caught you by surprise. Strike two, right before your eyes. Big three, ooh, I got you out, found it down, got you out. Yeah, I will be watching the video. They have the video on the DVD. Little Bow Wow, JD, Sammy, Little Zane, Little Wayne. That was a great song. Great song. All right, let's get into the movie. The big star of the movie is, Reeves. The Matrix was out. Reeves, he was a big star. And of course, John Wick. I mean, John Wick, that's a great trilogy. Don't kill a man's dog. Don't not, or I'll be like John Wick too. And start some. But anyway, Reeves, he plays a guy who's like down on his luck. He's gambling, taking bets, owes a lot of money, and he had to coach this little league team, from the ghetto to earn $500. And I really feel like giving back. You don't really want to, but it's like it makes you feel good, and I think it really changed him as a person. But the way I like to do movie reviews is if you could describe this movie, Hardball, in one word, what would it be? You know, we're gonna dive into the lessons, different characters, different scenes. But if no one ever saw the movie, how would you describe it to them? I feel like they could have just said baseball, but they called it hardball. And so it's obviously baseball, hardball, same thing. But my word would be hardships, because you kind of saw everybody's hardships in a way. His name was Connor O'Neill. He didn't really have it together, you know. He didn't really care about the kids. He just wanted to get a check, you know. He had a lot of, gambling debts, and you're not really gonna live a great life if all you do is gamble, because gambling is just about chance. You're not really, you never know what can happen. I mean, you can be a great sports expert, but anything can happen, right? But even through the kids, you kind of saw their hardships, um, the gunshots and, the games and, you know, even Connor O'Neill went to one of their houses and, you know, he was like, why is everyone sitting down to avoid the bullets? Because, some people die just sitting in the house and a stray bullet comes. And, feel like you saw kind of everybody's hardships. You saw them coming from single parent homes. And if you notice, he had to take them home because, just walking home is dangerous. the kid that got his name was Tibbs. He got beat up, he walked by himself trying to get home. And I'm like, man, and he was like, just take my stuff, leave me alone. But people like to take what's not theirs, and he got beat up. But also, uh Michael B. Jordan, I was a fan of Michael B. Jordan before, Fruitvale Station, but he played Jamal. And once he couldn't play no more, he went into a game. So you kind of saw all these hardships that the kids went through going to school, you know, they needed transportation. Um, what would your word be?
I would say church. That's where they all ended up at some point, but the baseball field was like the kids' church without calling it that because and I also thought of calling it destiny, because at some point they were all destined. They were all gonna have to come to a point where they needed to change something. That's what happened though. Something in everyone's lives, even though we didn't see the specific moment, we only follow Connor's. If we follow somebody else's specific perspective, like one of the kids or the parents or even the teacher, which we didn't have to, I feel like, especially with the teacher, because you can already tell she understood. It was just like Connor's character. He was like just now coming into it, like, oh, I didn't know what this was going on or what was going on. But it's not until it affects someone where you feel like you need to create change, that's what happened with him. If he wasn't nowhere near these kids' situation, was nowhere near the baseball team at all, um, it would have just been some other person in these kids' lives, you know, temporary filling this, you know, thing for them. And it might have not even amounted as or made as big of an impact. But that's why I thought it was kind of destiny that this had to happen because uh, they all, even gbaby, even though he was short-lived. He got to experience something a lot of kids like him don't. So, but I think church is what I'm gonna go with because it's like their haven for them to like release everything when they go back home. They can feel rejuvenated.
Yeah, it's a great outlet. It's a good word, church. And it's sort of like when people say, this is my sanctuary, like basketball court, is where you let, all your problems fade, and everyone needs some type of sanctuary to go to, whether it be a physical church or, a sport or some type of hobby. Right? Church is a good one, and destiny, right? It's like fate that they met each other, because the guy that gave Connor the job, I think Connor thought he was just going to be helping him out. He just dropped off the equipment and was like, peace, you know.
I wanted
But
to point that out too. There's a video. I'm gonna be doing a documentary on it. I've been hesitant about it because just goofy politics stuff about it, but the scene where I forgot what his name was, Smith and Stevenson, whatever. He dropped off that box. And that feels like to me represented what happened a lot. Especially, we still see it now. People don't talk about it. But even around like COVID times 2020, you would hear about these drop-offs. Um, like in 2020, it was the crates. Like where the fuck these crates come out of nowhere? And then people was doing them challenges. I don't know if you remember that. But also back in the day, it was like this documentary explored the tapes that was randomly dropped off in their neighborhood. Um and it was like a bunch of old tapes from Farrakhan or something and how that changed their lives just sitting they found these tapes randomly. Somebody just dropped them off. Um, but it also reminds me of Snowfall. The people watch Snowfall where it's like that double entendre of uh the meaning of the drop off. Anytime you see a film, especially a black film, if it's some type of drop off, it's a message of a reminder of how our worlds were twisted, you know. And Smith and Stevenson's just reminded me of that system that just drops off resources and leaves and expects everyone to just know what to do with it. And hey, when he said 500 a week, I was like, first off, you owe 750. So I offered, he was just walking around like, I'm like, but at the end of the day, he had a pizza. I'm like, that better be a good pizza. But he didn't have no choice. But even those situations, he had to like, you can't keep living like that forever. He also represented that paycheck to paycheck kind of feel. At some point, you gotta pick up your own straps on what you wanted to do. And I think it was a blessing in disguise that he got this job coaching these kids, and that was a hidden gem in itself, you know.
Good point. Good point. Good storytelling. Good observation. Because this that reminded me of what you just said, something about drop offs. Now all of a sudden I'm reminded of like I don't know if you watched Boy Meets World, but there
Yes.
was a there was an episode where the guy was working at a restaurant and these rich white folks was like, "Hey, you want to get paid? Just deliver this package to this address." And he and Corey was like to his friend, "You don't know what's in it?" He's like, "I don't know what's in it, but it's an easy job, you know." Um, and he was doing it for a while, but then, his conscience hit him like, this is probably nothing good in this package that I'm delivering. So he stopped. But that's what
Yeah.
you just said reminded me. But let's go to hardball. Do you have a favorite scene or favorite character from it? Um, or a favorite quote, or all three? Whatever comes to your mind first. Um, Mine would definitely be the kids. The kids were the best part of the film, but I like how they went from like the grittiness of like Connor's life to like the kids' life and playing baseball. So they kind of kept it like real, because a lot of movies are like fairy tale-ish, a happy ending, but they kept it still 100. But all the kids, I feel like gbaby was very funny because I think all the kids were funny because their language that they would speak, uh, cussing at the adults. I don't know. It's just funny. It's not good manners. It's rude. I know. But that's just where they come from. And it's so funny. And I liked when gbaby, had to like, there was a fight that broke out. And Connor was like, "What happened?" And gbaby said everything that happened. And that part was funny. But I liked how the kids interacted with each other and ribbing each other. And but even the scenes where Tibbs got beat up, or like when uh he's the one that's wearing the K in the picture. I knew him because he used to be on Nickelodeon, he might have been in that documentary where they were like, oh, this guy on the Nickelodeon sets were doing things to the kids that were inappropriate. And I think he was like one of the subjects because, they would do certain things to the black kids that they didn't do to the white kids. I'm trying to think of his name, but I saw a recent interview and Michael B. Jordan said they're still friends to this day. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I think there was a scene where they were walking home late at night and then gunshots went off and they knew the bullet or the gun. It was like Glock 9 millimeter. For them to know that at such a young age, you just know they, come from the not best neighborhoods and so they know about guns and stuff. So that kind of it kind of makes you think. But I definitely liked Elizabeth, the teacher, because she was like, "Yeah, I know what you are, Connor, but I wanted to see what the kids saw in you because kids, they can tell if you're just full of it." So they saw some good in Connor, and I do like how he did get them along. You know, don't talk about anybody bad on the team and they started to like him and respect him. And of course, pizza always helps. I would like it too if you take us out for pizza. Um, but do you have a favorite scene or favorite character?
I liked all of yeah, the kids were dope. When I was younger watching this, I didn't like the teacher. I was like, yeah, she's annoying. No, no, no. As an adult, she did still get on my nerves a little bit, but I was like, I get it. No, she care about him. I didn't see that growing up. I was like, oh, but rewatching, I'm like, oh, okay, but she still is. Yeah, I get it, annoying. But even when the kids were cussing at the president, like it just goes back to what the teacher said. Like the kids are never wrong. And if the kids can see through the president of the league, of the game they love, I mean, why are we sugarcoating it? They're not sugarcoating the disrespect either. What's the cussing? That at that point, because you're um picking at every little thing at these kids at this little league, you know, and I don't know. This also showed that the black community don't give up, you know. The community can't give up. So when Connor was like, "Look, I get it. gbaby gone. We ain't got to do this no more." That's how a lot of dreams die. That's how a lot of things don't get started. That's, where people fade away into the public, the society just to blend in. Um, that wouldn't have helped these kids like through a tough time already. And that was their way, like you said, an outlet for them. It wasn't just about winning these games. It was about winning together. And, what's the point of separating?
Yeah, because G Baby liked to see them play. So, like the brother said, he watching us now. Um, and because he was like, too young to play, and I do like that Connor let him play. And the only reason why the white coach from the other side, he saw his size and he was like, oh, never mind, he's on here because he underestimated him by his size and his age.
It's
But
basically
yeah,
like Rudy.
I think a lot of the coaches take this thing like too serious. Like it's not even high school or college. It's like middle school. Why are you guys, like Michael B. Jordan's character, what Jamal?
Mhm.
Just because he's born too weeks early. I could see if it was like a year early or
Right.
something, but it's like 2 weeks. Oh, brother. And then Miles couldn't wear headphones. What if an emergency? Then he'll take off his
He can
headphones in
see
an
every
emergency.
Yeah, it was those technicalities.
And and it was only because they were winning, and they were
Mhm.
good. And also you can just hear, just put one in your ear and
Right.
one out. But I did like how they was I like the scene where they were singing the song "I Love It When You Come a Big Papa" to help
Mhm.
them, and even the opposing team was clapping. So I thought I liked that scene. But I also liked what was that scene? Oh yeah, I like the different quotes, like um obviously the cuss words, but there was this scene where the boy with the glasses was like, "Are you trying to get Miss Wilkes?" I guess her name was Elizabeth Wilkes, but and he was like, "Cause I already tried and she wasn't having it." So different things like that. Kids say the darndest things. Oh, but the
Mhm.
scene that I always loved was Kofi, I believe his name was.
Yep.
He had the afro. He was in because the teacher was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to tell your mom you didn't do the homework." He just didn't like the homework. He
Mhm.
did say he did it, and he didn't want to discuss it because he thought, that's not reality. He was like, both in their moms, both tripping. He was like, because where I'm from, nobody father come back. Even the
Yeah.
teacher couldn't say nothing after that. Like, oh my goodness. Because it's
Yeah.
more than a book to them or a story.
Right.
It's real life.
When he
And
explained the book, I'm like, that's how I explain movie reviews. I'm like, just get to the point. This is what happened.
it's funny.
Because she didn't say it was wrong. She should have been in that moment. She should have been like, A plus. And the dramatic
Yeah.
scene pans off. And then he's in college 4 years. You're like, what? But no, no, this was a dope. I think one of the other funny parts of the film was his friend, which he had to cut him off because he was like, he was a leech. He wasn't, he loved that. He wanted to stay in the gambling world and just stay hooked. And I'm like, wait, okay, you're banking off his money or what? Like, what is Because he was like, come on, man, let's at least do 3 grand. I'm like, what's that? Now you're kind of tweaking out. But that scene when he was at it was in the beginning of the movie. He was like, I hate people mess with kids, man. And they came back with the tickets, like, hey, this is the last night's game. He was like,
Ah.
if a guy needs to get crack, he said, if a man needs his crack, a man needs his crack. Like, what? That's what I'm
He
saying. When I
just tried to
rewatched it,
scare him.
I was like, I don't remember that part growing up. I don't remember. And even when Connor was flirting with the teacher at the end, and he was like, she was like, we need a physical coordinator. He was like, you and me? I'm like, bro, where did this come from? Where did this come from? But she kind of did look like a boarding school teacher in the school at first. The first scene we saw her, and she did kind of look like a boarding school teacher. But when they were on that date, and he said that that was mean, he shouldn't have said that because she didn't look like a boarding school teacher in that moment. He was projecting.
Yeah,
He was mad that she found out that he don't really work there. She found out the truth. He didn't like the truth being found out, which I didn't understand why he was so upset about it, other than his cover being blown.
yeah, he wanted to impress her and stuff, but you just gotta be honest. And also, it's good to have a friend. You don't have to be a couple. Um, but yeah, I didn't like how, like, when
She
they were
was not trying to be his friend, and he was not trying to be hers.
adults
Okay,
just need to
Ashley.
adults need to learn how to just be friends sometimes.
Yeah,
Just be there for the
live. You
children.
can watch Living Single, How they could do that? They were falling in love. Am I
In
wrong?
Hardball,
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay, fine. In the comments, do y'all think they were falling in love?
I don't think so. I think it was like
You. Wow.
it wasn't in love. It was more so respect this person. This person is surprising me a lot. He's good with kids. He's
Ashley,
surprising me.
Ashley,
Thought he was just a
this is the you're the same person where I said on Bel Air that the guy was trying to get at Hillary, and you were like, no, he's not trying to do that. They're about to get married now. They're about to get married. They're probably getting married this next season. And
oh the Lamarcus football player.
you're telling me that Connor and Homegirl wasn't falling in love?
I mean, that's a stretch. Like getting to like each other and know each other, yes, but falling in love, I don't know about that. Getting to really like each other's company, sure. Courtship, yeah, but love is a stretch.
Fine. Make a film out of it then. Like 20
Um,
years later, what happened?
yeah, what happened to Connor and the kids? Um,
That'd be dope if they not remade it. Don't remake it. Just add something. Don't remake it.
don't remake it. Don't remake it. Um,
Just continue it.
you know what? You know what's interesting? I do remember going to baseball fields with you. Um,
I lived, there was a baseball field behind my house.
yeah.
It was a little league.
Before I continue with the movie, if you could play a baseball position, what position would it be? A pitcher? You know, a catcher? The outfield, the infield, first base, second base, third base, shortstop? What would it be?
I wouldn't want to play at any of the bases unless I was a pitcher. I mean, not, yeah, I wouldn't want to play the base, but the outside, I'll be the people in the out in the cut, getting the motherfuckers thinking they're going out home run. Psych. That'd be me. Whoever that is. That's what I would be.
Okay. Think I would just want to try every position out, see what I like. Because, if you're on the bases, it's more stressful in the pitcher and catcher. That is more stressful. But that's probably where most of the action is, too. 'Cause sometimes I be watching
Mhm.
Little League in the summer, when it's like America. Oh, speaking of Little League, so they have Little League on ESPN every year. And that's where Monet Davis, you know, many years. She was a pitcher for a team, and she just blew up because she was a black girl pitching. And speaking of Little League, it's when different countries like Japan, Australia, whatever, face the United States, different teams. But anyway, there was a Chicago team that won the whole thing one year, but they got all of their stuff revoked because they said, oh, the black kid. See, I just think if it was a different race, they wouldn't have had a problem with it. They said, I can't remember everything, but they said that there was some kids that weren't the right age or they weren't um in a specific neighborhood in Chicago. Like it's sort of like if you bring different kids, some people call it ringers or whatever. I just think if they were a different race, that wouldn't have happened. Why are you taking things from kids? Oh, you won the whole thing, but now we gotta take it. that's cruel to do to young kids, you know? But that's just me. That's just me. Um, but going on to the film, we talked about different scenes and characters and different moments that happened. Like Connor, when the fact that Connor got to run away from bookies, he was booking it like he was even on the roof. He got on the roof, and it's like, but I was gonna say I didn't really like when I think he was just under a lot of stress. He left the kids, and then you saw G Baby looking sad because I think a lot of people leave the kids hanging, and he's like, "You're not gonna coach and stuff." I think he was just under a lot of stress, but I didn't like that scene. It's like everything's going good, everything, they like you, and they're winning. I didn't like that scene, but I think maybe he
Yeah,
was
that was
just
sad.
stressed. Yeah, you know. Um, and you said that you cried uh about G Baby. I did too, because sometimes when you're into the movie and then somebody you get it, I think they did that on purpose. Let everyone get attached to G Baby. Let everyone get attached to G Baby. They did that to us on purpose. And I think it's one of those deaths that, because like people be doing different like nostalgia groups, and they say which movie death was the hardest, and G Baby is like always on the list, along with other deaths that happen in cinema, right? Um, and I do like that he finally got that moment. It's almost like his life was complete after that moment. I mean, you don't know it at the time, but um, yeah. And I even remember, watching it in the theaters, it the theater was silent, and um so that is a big, big moment. Do you want to talk about that moment? I think even you said they don't give up, because they could have easily said, we don't want to play anymore. Our joy is gone. Our friend is gone. And even the brother came back and was like, we're playing for G Baby. Because he would want them to play, Um, what do you think about that scene? Because I think it shows a lot. It was a lot about that scene. It showed that you can't even go in your house because there's violence everywhere, and they trying to smoke somebody out, right? But you also see Michael B. Jordan, Jamal. You see how where his character went, because he couldn't play baseball no more. And then you saw all this, you saw G Baby die, in an instant, you know. There were so many things about that scene.
G Baby was like the reminder that um it was like that spark of joy people needed. And he showed that I don't know. That scene was hard because that was Kofi's little brother, but that was also the team's little brother too. And that was Connor's like little man, you know what I mean? Like that was his buddy throughout the game. And I think G Baby experienced that love he needed. Um so I think his death, the way he went out was messed up. And at the same time, his death was such an impact because he brought so much like joy and light, to everyone. Um, but I like how they saved the game. They saved his part. And I forgot they did that in the film. I was like, oh, they gonna wait till the end. But I really
Mm-hmm.
liked that part. And it was quiet, it was silent, and Kofi tried his best to do what he could, but it just shows you too, like you can do everything, but you can still get in the way because even that scene where I forgot his name, the one with the K, I forgot his name. He had Connor take him upstairs with him because there was this other documentary I seen too where they were talking about Chicago's projects and how unsafe it would be for people to be in the elevators. A lot of assaults happened, a lot of threats, intimidations. People would be somehow sneaking in the elevator. I don't know. So that little part just showed like maybe on that field they act tough with each other, but they don't act like that when it's time to walk into the crib or walk on that in that area because they know how dangerous it really is. So um just that feeling like nobody wanted to walk in there and they lived there. But yeah, that was a hard scene, but I'm glad he got to experience some joy before that.
Yeah. It has a lot of different meanings. Even Connor spoke at the funeral and how, his baby smile and how, he was said he was lifted up to a better place. And I think kids do bring that type of joy. But there was just because like if where could they even go? They went to the back of the building, but if something like that happens, where can you go? Do you go to a rec area? Where can you go? To end it on a good note, instead of a sad note, your memory of baseball, like, do you like baseball? Like, do you go to baseball games or do you play baseball? I know we have memories when there was a baseball field behind your crib. I've been to a couple of Brewers games. I feel like baseball is too long, but I do like watching the Little League in the summer when I see the different countries and, of course, the different American players. Um, and some of them grow up to be pros. And I think baseball, I like playing the video game of baseball, but not the actual game or to like actually watch major leagues. But I did like how, Reeves' character did take them to a pro game. And it was like, so over there. So that was cool. So you have any baseball memories?
That's a good question. Yeah, I used to go to those. I used to watch them from my room sometimes because it was just really, really behind my crib. But I would go there, especially for the food. I really just go to baseball for the food. It is long, which made me laugh because when dude was having those headphones, I'm like, dang, the battery strength on that is crazy. Like, dang, like baseball is a long game. Shout out to DJ. He plays my friend's son. He plays out in the South now, but um, she tells me all the time about the recruiting and or him trying to get recruited and all that. Just the process of baseball itself, I think it still slowly follows me, to be honest. And I remember you watching when I would go to your house sometimes. I would always see you watching on the weekends, like not always, but like you said, in the summer, I would see you watching the little leagues a lot. I was like, oh wow, you must be really into baseball. Because I used to try and watch it on my own. I'd be like, okay. So people would invite me to go, and I would go then, but I wouldn't pay for it myself and go. But people would like doing it for like I know some people who like doing it for tailgate reasons. Um, but I still never been to an official tailgate, so I don't know even know what that's like. But um, I did. I had a baseball bat, had a baseball, and I used to like hitting it. I was a I had friends, but I was also a loner, so I'd like hit it. I like playing like that though, hitting it, practicing my swing. I would go over there to you had to like kind of wait it out because they would utilize that a lot. And I had friends who would play baseball and I would go to their games and watch, but it would be cold a lot of times. Like it'll be hot, but then it'll be really cold weather. So you gotta be like you're a kid gotta play or someone you love gotta play or it's like your homies. Otherwise it's like I wouldn't do that just as a fan. But it's a lot of history in it as well in baseball, and it's a dope sport. Yeah, it's a long game, but I wonder if it's longer than golf. I feel like golf just never ends. It's probably a golf game started at 10, it's still going on.
I think the kids make it more exciting. I
Mm,
don't really watch the pros unless it's like some highlights, you know. But I don't know. Yeah, for social reasons, people go to the games and
mm.
food and, maybe
They
it's a
do have
giveaway.
really good food. They do have good food. I would just
Yeah.
go there just for a pizza or something. I did not look at the game. I'm just in line.
Oh, yeah.
That's when they had like the big candy bar. Like food was food in back in the day. You know how much that slice of pizza cost me? It was a big slice of pizza. It was like $2. It
Mm.
was like $2. The sodas was like under $1. Chips, snacks.
Inflation,
That same slice today, probably at least
$7.
five and up. Ain't no two nothing. Now I remember Pizza Shuttle used to have I don't know if they still do it, but they used to have dollar pizzas in that little circle thing. It would just rotate all day. It was like, this is $1. Like, I'll pay that. Hopefully it's not dried out. At that point, it's like just get a whole little slice of pizza because it's
My
probably dried out like Speedway. Now sometimes Speedway be oh, that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know if I want. I just want the professionals. Or I might support like,
Oh, you
your
never.
local pizza place. You
Mhm.
know. I don't know if I trust gas station food. It depends. If it's in the morning,
Trust McDonald's people. That's random people every day you don't know.
if it's in the morning and it's fresh, maybe. It's like
Hmm.
donuts.
Speaking of that, we went to McDonald's. We caught it early. Remember in Big Daddy and they missed the breakfast? We caught it
Hmm.
just in time because they don't play about it no more. They're like 10:30. If you're in line before just a few minutes, you're good. You're
Oh,
good.
that's cool.
And delete that part out. Don't talk about it.
Not making any promises. But thanks for joining me, cuz. Make sure you guys go to the Road to William and support. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us your favorite thing about hardball. And stay balling and stay hidden, stay kitchen. Don't strike out. And if you strike out, you know you can
China.
always try
I
to
think,
uh,
yeah.
try three.
Hey.
Everybody go check out that song Hardball with all the
Yeah.
little rappers. Check out the video too because Bow
Oh,
Wow's braids was dope and
braid,
yeah,
the
it's
braid.
it's Sammy,
Oh, you know
that's
what? You know what it reminded me of? Sinners, the kid version. Because at first he was a happy little kid outside playing baseball with his friends. Then he had to go over to the dark side. Like, that's, oh, Lord. No.
that's
I'm
what
just saying,
happened in
Ryan
Sinners.
Cooper saw that movie as well.
Sinners, but the baseball version.
before
Oh
we,
wow.
before we saw it. I thought that was dope. So many people careers started after that. So dope film. Keanu Reeves, a goat, of course. I'm starting to watch The Matrix. Never seen it fully, so stay tuned for that. For a Matrix coming in. And Lawrence Fishburne had recently been on a podcast with Neil something. I forgot his name, but he's in there like he's the science guy basically. They were talking about the Matrix too, so it's just cool to see how Keanu Reeves always expanded his films and what he did too. He didn't just stick with sci-fi. I think he tapped into a little bit of everything. Because
Yeah, that's true.
this was like drama. It was a little thriller. You was like, dang, he was getting chased and they was trying to look around. I was like, they gonna make it?
Mm,
They didn't play about that. They didn't play about that. So
you owe us money. Um, yeah, Michael B. Jordan told a story. He was saying how the kid that played Andre, they're still friends, and he was talking about how Reeves was cool, and he even brought Lawrence Fishburne to meet all the kids, and he was like, that was a cool, experience, you know. Um, but yeah, Michael B. Jordan, um, he was on The Wire when he had braids. I
hmm.
might rewatch The Wire, but only the kid parts. That's when I really started watching The Wire, when they had all the kids on there. I never really was into The Wire when it was just mostly grown folks. But Michael B. Jordan, he was in a lot of stuff. He was in the show Friday Night Lights about baseball. I mean football. That was cool. And he was in this hero movie called The Chronicles. I might check that out because I remember like you know hearing about it, but I don't know if I actually saw it. So I might check that out. And people were so mad when he was in there because they're like, "Oh, he's black," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, calm down." Comments are they're not even real, so why are we complaining? His power was fire. But also, speaking of movies, I saw this trailer, Fantastic Four, right?
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
Fantastic Four. They're
oh.
making another one, and it looks so terrible. It looks
Hey, people need money.
terrible.
People need money.
Even the new Superman, it looks so boring. What are they
I
doing?
wasn't.
But
I never was into those type of films. Like I was shocked I got into Dark Knight. I'm gonna keep it a buck because I never got into the Spider-Man, the Batman, Superman, and then
what?
there's
You don't like
Fantastic.
Spider-Man?
I was like,
Spider-Man is the best.
but yeah,
Spider-Man,
now I played the game, the video game.
Spider-Man.
The video games are dope. I will say that, but the story, I never sat down to watch a Spider-Man movie. You can boo me in the comments. I don't really care, but
Hmm.
I'm trying. I'm trying, but I don't know. That's never been my.
But what about the an animation one with Miles Morales.
That's even worse. But it was on, so I used to watch it because it was on the Batman show. I watched that a little bit, but I wanted it to go off. But yeah,
Wow. Wow. Then they're gonna make a third one, and this third one look, oh my
I'd
goodness.
be
The
late.
way,
I just came around to Power like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? You had to
oh,
introduce me to Twilight. I was like, oh, because I wouldn't have sat down on my very own to watch it.
oh. Hmm.
So it's not that
Well,
I don't think I wouldn't like it. I just never sat down to watch it because I'm like, I try what like Iron Man. It's like that dry humor, and I'm like,
mm,
I'm okay. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm
So I
not
haven't.
really too big on Iron Man,
Yeah,
but Wolverine is always good. And Deadpool.
right,
Deadpool is amazing.
right.
Especially the newest one with Deadpool and Wolverine. That was good. And have you seen the one with it's Wolverine's last movie called
I've never
Logan?
seen none of the Wolverines, none.
But what about Logan? It's called Logan.
I've
That's
seen Thor.
I'm not into Thor.
I got with Thor. I got with Thor. Yeah, you got an annoying little brother who's trying to tear down the world. Like, here we go again.
But
But
what's so hmm, yeah.
that's all.
But I think it depends on the superhero for me. Some are boring and some are exciting. Like I like Wolverine and Spider-Man
Oh, I
mostly,
like the Joker.
and Deadpool. I did like I like the Joker in Dark Knight. I
Yeah,
like the new Joker, but then they made Joker into the musical and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know why they decided that because the other
I'm gonna
Joker,
tap into different versions of the Joker. You gotta imagine how many Jokers there are.
a musical, mm.
Mm-hmm.
But the first Joker, that was good, but
Getting
then
on
they
them
turned it.
steps. He was getting it on them steps.
Was he dancing? Oh,
He was getting jiggy.
mm.
He was getting jiggy on them steps.
Oh, you saw the musical?
No, but I can only imagine
Oh, okay.
from his performance from Joker how they could turn it into a musical.
Mm. I guess I'll just watch and see. Mm. I just can't imagine it. But the guy that played Joker in Dark Knight was good. It's good talking about hardball and movies. And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And check out Road to William. And stay ballin' and stay hitting, pitching, catching, striking, all the baseball terms. Running, stealing bases. Peace.